Okay, hello. Um, Welcome back to more of my thoughts on the current season of Doctor Who. I just watched Lucky Day, literally finished watching it about 5 minutes ago, so the thoughts are still very fresh and raw, so I'm giving that context. But I am so, unbelievably excited about it, and I'm also traveling tomorrow for a few days, so I would not be able to record until probably around the time the next episode is coming out if I didn't record tonight. So I'm doing this raw right off the cuff. I just watched it, and my initial, maybe this will change. Maybe my opinions will need to simmer, but and shift over time. But my initial thoughts on this episode is that this is not only the best episode of this season so far, but the best episode of the Russell T Davies 2 era so far. I thought this was absolutely incredible. Um, I last season I really, as for all issues, I really did love the character of Ruby Sunday. I thought she was such a well written, just in engaging, altruistic, endearing figure, in the show, and I feel like end up loving most companions, but it's been a while since we had that such a force like that. Probably trying to think of the last one that was just so endearing, like Ruby Sunday level of endearing, and it's got to be wow, I did love Bill Potts, and I do love Yaz, but is it like the Amy and Rory duo? Was that the last incredible companion like that? I don't know. Anyway, something I was sad about though is that we didn't get enough time with her. I thought for sure she was going to come back as a secondary companion this season, but it doesn't seem to be the case. But what this episode did in terms of portraying a realistic, down to earth, what the actual tangible effects are of being someone who did travel with the Doctor and trying to settle back into a quote unquote normal life after such a powerful experience is I kept trying to think of another Doctor Who story. I haven't, I'm still working my way through Classic Who, but in the modern era, another Doctor Who story that took such care with that subject. And I don't, there are some, of course, but none comes to mind that are this strong tackling that issue. Um, there's an incredibly heartfelt scene early in the episode when not much has happened, and there's just some weird kind of sussy things going on, um and not much has happened, just weird flickering electricity, and you see Ruby kind of break down a little, and she confesses that admits she probably has PTSD, if this is so triggering for her, just a small instance of that, just imagine the impact. And I thought that was so real and so powerful, that's one example. But the way this episode starts as one thing and shifts into another, but all while covering a lot of the same ideas and as that through line is really strong. I was not at all expecting the twist. I thought the character was a little odd. I thought there were some holes in his story for sure, but I was not expecting the twist to go the way it went, and what the comments and when it shifted and it started happening like that, I was like, oh, this is what they're trying to do with this episode, and I think it worked. I think it was a little, the twist and what where the episode became was a little over the top, I would say. Um, I think that, especially in Russell T Davies 2 era, his social commentary is very on the nose to the point where I worry it will become a little dated over time. I think Doctor Who has always had social commentary since the beginning, since the 1960s. It's been a show with that being one of the driving forces behind it. If anyone who says otherwise does not a real fan of the show. I will say that firmly. It has always had social commentary, but I do agree with the sentiment that in this Russell T Davies 2 era, the commentary has been a little bit too on the nose. Yeah, so oh my god, I just totally lost my train of thought here. But yeah, so the way it so sure there it's giving that social commentary, but the way it used this character, I cannot for the life of me remember his name, and I think it's good that I don't remember his name. The way they use this character to sort of serve as like a conduit for showing us like the current like state of Ruby Sunday as a character was incredibly well done. God, like it was so crushing that she like finally, finds a person whose space that she can open up to and feel safe around. And God, like the see that ripped away from her so cruelly and unfairly, like it was just crushing. Like I teared up. Like it was crushing to watch. And the way such treatment and behavior from like certain kinds of people just grates on others. That's like the whole point. They feed off of like grading down other people and getting like them to snap, and I think that's like what these kind of these parasites almost like get their energy from, and God, just seeing like how it affects everyone, like of course Ruby, but also like Kate Stewart. Like you see how it grates on her, and how like the provocative nature like of this guy's behavior is like really like grating on her, and how she behaves in that, and how she goes too far in certain instances, because that's what they want and that's what they feed off of, is getting like grating down people until they snap. And I thought the final scene where the Doctor like envelops him in the TARDIS to teach him a lesson was a little too, like, at first I thought it was going to be the guy's imagination, like, or something all in the guy's head, or a dream or something, but it seems to be real. I thought that could have been cut. I thought that it was a little too on the nose, and like a little too did you learn your lesson end of episode speech kind of thing. Like that scene I think could have been cut. I think it was a little weak, and I think it didn't need to be in like the episode, but just the episode over the whole was so powerful, despite like the blatancy of the social commentary it was conveying. And it really, really like endeared me to Ruby Sunday as a character. I think she's one of the best companions, I would say. Like, for how little time we've got with her, the power that she like gives is just insane. I wish, like, she stayed on a little longer as a companion, because I absolutely love her. I like Belinda so far, don't get me wrong, we just haven't seen enough of her. And that carries me into my other issue with this episode. I had said last week I was worried about it, like, getting a Dr. Light episode, a Doctor and Companion Light episode, like, in a season that's so short. We have so few stories with Belinda so far, that I was worried about this. But then I saw the Doctor and Belinda in the trailer, and I was like, okay, they're just going to be in the story, but Ruby is also going to be there. I was wrong. No, it was a Dr. Light story. Belinda and the Doctor have about 5 minutes or less of screen time in the whole episode. This is a Ruby Sunday like companion solo story, and as much as I did love this episode and thought it was incredible, I thought it would work so much better in like a standard length 13 episode season, instead of 8 episodes, when we're really going to have. Is this the way that this is the 4th episode? We only have, before the finale 2-parter, we only have, this was 4, so 2 more Doctor and Belinda stories before the finale. I mean, I would like I would, maybe she'll stay on next season and we'll get more of that. I don't know where this narrative is going, but I think it is like, as much as I did love this episode, I think it is really like, when you have such short seasons, you can't really afford Dr. Light stories, which is why I wish they would revert back to the 13 episode length. But I know Disney doesn't want to fund with such high budget episodes. I know Disney doesn't want to deal with that. But yeah, overall, like, this was an incredible story. I think it will be remembered as like a great one. Perhaps the first of this Russell Davies 2 era that will be remembered as a classic. I don't know for sure. I think a lot of the people are going to shit on it for the wrong reasons because of the commentary, but I think its portrayal of post Doctor Travel companion life is some of the best we've ever gotten, and how that mentally impacts someone, and just the character study of Ruby Sunday was just like so god, like just if I didn't think like I could grow attached to this character more, I love this character. Like she is incredible. And her writing in this episode was god tier, and how what it did for Kate as well. Like this was just a top tier episode. Did Russell write this? Let me see. I just assume Russell writes everything now because he's written so much and not given up for other writers. What was it? Lucky Day? That was the episode. Let's see. Let's see. Who wrote it? No, this was not even co-written by Russell. This was written by Pete McTighe. It just oozes Russell though, which is like very interesting. What has he written? I wrote Kerblam. I really liked Kerblam. He wrote Praxis, which I did not like. Oh, he co-wrote that with Chibnall. That makes sense. And Lucky Day. And he did a lot of stories for... Looks like he did a lot of stories for Big Finish, it seems like. Is it Big Finish, or what are these? Sorry, I'm going on a tangent. Oh, they're like little shorts. Oh, okay. So he's done Doctor Who writing before. Yeah, I'm very surprised this wasn't a Russell episode. Maybe it is. Maybe like it's a blanket Russell episode where he like definitely like had influence on it. It just feels like it's oozing with Russell T Davies too. Russell energy. There was the ending with the governor, like where Miss Flood comes out and seems like she's letting him out of the jail, and what does she say? Miss Flood comes, governor. She introduces her with the governor. And she says it's his lucky day, hence the the title. But is the governor a character in Doctor Who? Oh, the governor is like a... Sorry, I'm going like totally off on tangents. Okay, a prison governor is the person who runs a prison. That's why she was saying it. So it could just be that, like, it might not be, it might not be that like that's like, but it does sound like a Time Lordy name. It's like I'm the governor. Which could be. I still am holding out that she's Susan, but who knows? Who knows? I don't really have much to say about that mystery anymore. But overall, top tier episode. This one really blew me away and hit me hard. And even though it wasn't what I wanted for this season, I can't complain with what we got, despite the a little bit over the top dated social commentary issues that it does have. But yeah. Next week's looks very unique and interesting and fresh. Despite there being so many episodes of Doctor Who featuring a giant spider, just the vibes and the environment look really cool. So I'm excited for that one. Yeah, thanks for watching.